following announcement has been paid for by the
Shiten Shitsuru?
Okay, I just lost my words there for a second, but hey, welcome to another stream. Hey Gray, hey Blake, how you guys going? Okay, so we're going to be talking about Sonicphobia again. For those of you who don't know, Sonicphobia is Abyssal Grays in the chat. Yep. Abyssal Grays in the chat. Somebody who's had beef with Sonicphobia for quite some time. Sonicphobia is this parasocial, weird, hermit crab-looking creature who is writing fanfics about Abyssal Gray's friend, but is trying to deny it. Now, as the title states, I do not like Wattpad writers. I find them to be cringe. And I know there are a bunch of good fanfic writers out there. I know there's good Wattpad writers out there. But if there's 1,000 snakes coming at you and 20 of them are good snakes, I'm not letting the good snakes in. I'm sorry. I'm not looking for good Wattpad writers. Wattpad is just not my thing. AO3 is not my thing. But I feel like torturing myself today, so I'm going to be reading a bit of Sonicphobia shit. This is Rest in Cheesecake, which is a god-awful name. Do better. Okay, so, let's throw on some elevator music or something. Because I'm not going to read this crap in silence. I don't have my speaker up. That's what it is. So I will turn it down for you guys, but turn it up for me. And don't try not to keep it up because my mic will pick up the speaker. It'll double. I'll turn it down a little bit. Is that a little better? Okay, additional tags. This is my first Billy Bust Up and Cat done it. This is for Billy Bust Up fans who have a soft spot for Cat. cats. What type of tags are these? I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of people who die here. Bear with me, this is my first time using additional tags. This might be disturbing. Read at your own risk. Don't like, don't read. Too bad. I don't like you, and I'm going to read it anyway. Now, I just want to put a quick disclaimer out here. For anybody watching this live or watching the VOD afterwards, do not witch hunt or troll crusade Sonicphobia. Please. Don't do it. That just makes you weird. I'm doing this because I'm a grown man who understands the consequences of his actions will bring. Murphy is the name of Sonicphobia's cat. Okay, that's what Murphy is. I was like confused. Why is this listed under both the Natophobia and Murphy? Okay, so that's Sonicphobia's cat. Okay, language English, published April 10th, 2025, updated. Yep. Okay. Rest in Cheesecake. This is a work of fiction. Any semblance. Is that? Hey, Hive. Let me just check real quick. I'm pretty sure semblance is spelled. Okay, no, it's spelled right. It's just the caps throwing me off. Any semblance to any people living or dead is entirely coincidental. This is entirely a lie. Chapter 1, a letter from Murphy. Dear reader, depending on where you are, I'm actually Sonicphobia / Putty Black Cat's cat. I decided to hijack their archive of our own account to start writing fan fiction of my own. I've seen that black owl that Sonicphobia kins relates to a crazy level, obsessed with, and don't care, but we are going to be real here. This is quite literally my first attempt at fan fiction. I have sat on Sonicphobia's keyboard before when they were trying to play the Billy Bust Up demo. They do sometimes refer to me as Cat Bastard and Cat Bastard Thump sometimes. You already put sometimes here. Why do you need sometimes here? That's redundancy. Just using the same word over and over again. Drop one sometimes. It literally starts with sometimes and ends with sometimes. Well deserved in my honest opinion, because let's be honest. Honest and you're doing it twice. You did it twice. Are you kidding me? Honest and honest. Oh my god. This is not going to be fun. Cosplaying keyboards are comfy to lay on. Very funny how I think I can write a compelling cat whodunit with a dead owl. Sonicphobia is the one who is doing the pronoun polishing and whatnot. They know things I don't. I'm simply a cat doing cat things. I work at the Department of Redundancy Department. Details about who and what do not matter to me. Sonicphobia has been waiting to make a whodunit for a long time now. They're just trying to figure out how. This is a test on them writing a whodunit. Names have been used fictitiously due to Sonicphobia not wanting to attach names of real people in fear of them potentially taking offense. That one did not age quite so well. Now, if you can excuse me, I got Sophus to shred, catnip to roll in, and trouble to cause Sonicphobia. Oh, and to annoy my older brothers, Rusty and Wally. Wally is Sonicphobia's dog. He is not part of the story. Sorry about your lucks, Chuck. It's always the white people in places. This is something he fucking Heaton would say. Murphy. P.S. If I knew how to format images, I'd post my own paw print. Here is my signature. Oh, whoops, I forgot to switch sheets. There we go, now you got reading sheet. This is Sonicphobia writing from the perspective of their cat. Hashtag Free Murphy. Free Murphy. Cast characters, humans. Al Sonic Brown, an amateur gender-fluid writer and self-proclaimed jack-of-all-trades who does not have an interest in sex, will use they-them, asexual, and panromantic. Bianca Niskalki. What type of name is that? What the hell? Al's best friend in real life since the crib days. That is not a phrasing I've ever seen before, but I'll allow that. Elijah Nelson, a bisexual brony. I already don't like him. I don't like bronies. They're fucking weird. Who causes problems in the Billy Bust-Up fandom? A known stalker. Ashley Ketchum. Definitely not copyright infringed. We put an Leigh so we don't get sued. An Arrow Ace developer. Kadian Bloom, a non-binary developer. Gabriel V. Black. An asexual musician who is married. Melina Williams, Sonic's best friend from Finland. Jonathan Trelawney. Which is worse, this Wattpad story or the average Bug Talk story? I'm gonna put in a third option and say Sonichu. Cool guy, still acceptable brony. Okay. Jonathan Trelawney, a Galaxy Con security guard. Why would a security guard be important to the story? I don't know. But okay. Evie Argentum, Al's niece who is cosmopolitan. The fact that Al's last name is Brown isn't a coincidence. Black Griffin's name is Gabriel Brown. So Sonicphobia just switched their last name. Griffins. Ah. Yes, because I would throw the person I'm absolutely obsessed with into my story. That's fucking weird. That would be like me putting Lisa Marie Varon in my fucking comic book. That's weird. Rusty, an orange cat who has been with Al Brown since their middle school days. They don't understand sexuality, romantic interests, or gender, but love their owner. MX Murphy, a barn cat who is too nosy for their own good. Barnaby, a ghost of a once living owl, gender fluid, homo-romantic, asexual, and autistic. Use he, him for this series though. Haunts in Rose City scarred graveyard near the hospital. Billy, an Arrow Ace goat who has a knack for getting themselves into trouble. Scrimshaw, a violet cat who is also Sonic's skipper. Elaine Corso, the Commodore of Loon Island Yacht Club. Where is the? There's supposed to be a the right here. The Commodore of the Loon Island Yacht Club, and Pirate Queen. Aristotle, a teacher at Rose City High School, autistic, non-binary, and gay. Belle, Billy's adopted mother, lesbian. Fantocio, the theater director of the community college. Okay, blank page. Wait, chapter. Why are you putting introductory parts as chapters? That's a stylistic choice I've never seen before. This is chapter 1. This is a foreword. Why would you call the foreword chapter 1? Something I want to point out, characters beyond Murphy are characters from Billy Bust Up. Okay, let me do a quick Google search of that because just to get my bearings on that. Captivating 3D platform that blends music, magic, and adventure in a world inspired by your own favorite animated classics. There's no Wikipedia page. Okay, I'll study up on it a bit later. But this is irking me. Why is a foreword chapter 1? Introductory, fucking introducing the characters is chapter 2. Does she not? I mean, do they not know how structuring a story goes? The story starts at chapter 1. You call chapter 3 chapter 1? Okay. Billy Bust Up is furry musical ahead in time. Try fan wiki. Okay. There's just fan fictions. There's no fandom page either. Let me try. Oh, wait, what the heck? Wow, this is probably the only thing I've seen that doesn't have a fandom page. That's crazy. Usually everything I see has a fandom page. It's not one for this. Okay, let's look at TV tropes. Main protagonist, an adventurous, headstrong goat. Billy has incredible magic abilities, but is ostracized in her village for her lack of control over them. With only her mother, pet winged fox, and 2 best friends for her company. However, her luck changes one day when an old friend of her long-lost father, Arthur, shows up at her village. Recognizing her face and latent magical abilities, Aristotle requests her help to complete their gem collecting mission. She jumps at the chance to see the world with him. I'll bookmark this for a little later. I'll bookmark that. Okay, chapter 3, chapter 1. This makes no sense at all. This is a clusterfuck. Name it something else. It's been 3 months since the Billy Bust Up fandom was shaken up by the mysterious and unexpected arrival of their favorite characters in their universe. The quiet town of Rose City, Connecticut has been shaken up by the unexpected and terrifying arrival of a certain ghost owl. The manor stood next to the local hospital, right in the center of the graveyard. It is springtime, the grass is growing, and the roses are bloom, and everyone is unsure of what to do with the ghostly newcomer, or any of the magic using newcomers to be precise. If one heads to the high school, they would stumble upon a small part of Rose City that is the historic district. Owl Sonic Brown lives in that vicinity. Right now, they are busy cleaning up their lawn back lawn for the summer festivities. Two cats bask in the sunshine. One was orange, and the other was what appeared to be a Siamese tuxedo mix, but it's just a fat barn cat. Wow, Mom is working hard. Wow, Mom is really working hard ever since that funny black owl has been in town. I have never seen them work this hard. Rusty commented to Owl. Rusty sounded like he was simply meowing. You silly kitty. You really do have orange cat behavior. You just ate food. Owl scolded the cat playfully, pausing their digging to rub the orange cat between the ears. Tina's paw needed a translator. Murphy grumbled, swiping a paw over their ear. Because if I interrupted you, I don't want you to stop what you're doing. Sonic got their nickname due to the fact that their internet name, Sonic Fan Gender Fluid 1991, is often shortened to Sonic. It does not help that they have a tendency to run everywhere. In real life, they prefer to be called Owl because they feel that their full name is too frilly and girly. Ever since their father died at 17, I have spent a lot of time questioning themselves. They did spend a year in college and came to the conclusion that college simply wasn't meant for them. They are currently getting ready for spring and GalaxyCon. Once they were done outside, they headed inside to make improvements on their Barnaby cosplay. The cosplay was a simple headband or pink waistcoat made from the fabric they found, and a black sweater with wings sewn on. They propped the cosplay into a T-pose and tisk. I'm going to need Barnaby's input, they grumbled, running their hands into a messy mop of curls. So it says the internet name Sonic Fan Gender Fluid is often shortened as Sonic. I thought you got the nickname Sonicphobia because you're scared of Sonic. Matter of fact. They should still show DMs. before Sonicphobia blocked me. It kind of... I don't approve of spamming anybody's inboxes. Please don't do this. I don't approve of it. But kind of took their inbox. I was like, kept spamming, how are you scared of Sonic? Boom, Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I'm not a rebranded Heaton Mitsuru, but I'm a Heaton parody. And I don't want to talk to you. So this was the answer I got. Good question. To be honest, I was kind of stupid as a kid, and it took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out he's a protagonist. I think it's the green eyes because I grew up on Disney, old Disney movies. What? GalaxyCon. Gabriel Black was preparing his booth, setting up their guitar and tuning it. They ruffled their own messy curls and glanced at his wife Shyla. She seems ready. Gabriel started commenting before a familiar pudgy face showed up. Gabriel was about to get up when Jonathan Trelawney, the GalaxyCon security guard, paused Gabe from doing something foolish. His black hair was swept as he muttered, "Easy there, we got you." As both security guard and Gabriel both, stop doing this, please. This is seriously irritating me. I'm not really of a reader. I don't know how to explain it. But if you put the same word in the same sentence multiple times, that throws me off. Why are you doing this? Jeez, learn to write. God damn. Every time Sonicphobia does this, I'm just going to exclude one both. Just finding it funny that I finished. Okay, you finished. Oh, right after. Okay. I didn't read the right after part. Okay. Right after. As both the security guard and Gabriel approached the overweight con guard, they both saw exactly who it was. Gabriel's jaw was set in a hard line. "Mr. Black, we will take it from here," Jonathan assured the musician. He sat back and watched the security guard handle the pudgy figure roughly. He knew exactly who it was. Elijah Nelson, his stalker. Elijah has been a thorn in Gabriel's side for 10 whole years. Just like your a thorn in grave Jesse and Maddie's side. As Jonathan led away the pudgy man, Gabriel saw his shirt and bristled. It felt like a harsh slap across his face from his time on My Little Pony. If I had my webcam on, then you would see I'm doing the "my mom is kind of homeless." Oh, okay, I'll check those out a bit later. You guys gotta see this. I never had a phone as a teenager. Okay, don't check that one out. Don't play audio for the because they got copyright music. Okay, I'll peek those a little bit later then. Okay. It was of a character that his best friend had played, and it caused him great discomfort seeing a reminder of such a wicked person boldly strutting in there. Jonathan, meanwhile, hauled the weird pudgy man. Elijah, as if nobody told you to leave a married man's wife alone, Jonathan scolded. She knew him from I know. It is also strange, but legal, that his wife made it plain that she wants nothing to do with you. Jonathan was harsh here. Didn't she tell you to leave her alone? She had you blocked everywhere, and yet you still tried to approach her. I don't care who she voiced or who she worked with. What I do care about is her safety. Shyla has made it painfully clear that she is not in any danger whatsoever. If you cannot comprehend that, then I will take it a step further and ask for the local law enforcement to escort you out. You don't know. You don't understand jack shit. You bullied an entire fandom, the developers of Billy Bust Up, and stalked and harassed everyone who was remotely part of the fandom. Okay, so Jonathan is apparently Brony fandom. Isn't that Bonk or whatever his name is? He stalked and harassed everyone who was remotely part of the fandom. I've seen Sonic Gender Fluid Fan 1991 post. I can't see anybody actually saying this with a straight face. Just imagine actually scolding somebody and saying the word Sonic Gender Fluid Fan 1991. Yeah, he's Bonk, okay. Imagine just giving somebody a tongue lashing and saying Sonic Gender Fluid Fan 1991 with a straight face. That couldn't be me. Jonathan's tone was harsh and cold. They unceremoniously pushed Elijah out of the con's front door and onto the street. And do not pester Al. I've met them before. What? Okay. You had to throw in the fact that you met them. Sure. Do not pester Al. I've met them before, Jonathan added. Elijah got to his feet and grumbled angrily. Al was a brute licking. He never got to finish that. A sharp voice snapped. Excuse me. Elijah turned around and was met with a Barnaby cosplayer with quite the intense glare. Their hazel eyes were brimming with fury. If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything, the Barnaby cosplayer scolded. Brushing by Elijah, he noticed that the Barnaby cosplayer looks homemade. He leered at the Barnaby cosplayer. Little did Elijah know that his wickedness would bring in store. What his wickedness would bring in store. Elijah stormed off, brimming with fury. Just use brimming with fury. Use another analogy.
Sonicphobia is convinced that the hair in contact with Gabe and the belly bust up
Dev team. So Sonicphobia is on the Chris Chan Miyamoto arc right now. How you doing, Jesse? That's exactly what it is. Sonicphobia is on their Chris Chan Miyamoto saga right now. Meanwhile, at the Barnaby Manor, the ghostly owl host himself was basking in the mid-afternoon sun. 3/4 of his body was hugging his strange roof, and he snored. His head was laying in a comfy patch of moss in the sunny part of his front lawn next to a grave. To anyone, it would have been a cartoon in real life, but the residents of Rose City knew better than to laugh loudly. They knew the owner had a reputation in the community for hosting swinging wakes, so they smartly let them be, unless they are really unlucky to get a formal invitation. A small voice woke up the giant sleeping owl. Naturally, he was cranky until he saw that it was a fresh new ghost. He squinted. The newbie had jeans on and a violent griffin shirt on. His gaze softened as he saw how scared the little ghost was. The giant owl stretched his neck to the new person. Why, hello, little soul. Barnaby used a soft tone to address the new soul. They didn't want to scare off the poor soul. Too much souls like something else. That was for certain. Barnaby, the little soul shrieked, his voice trembling. What happened to me? Why am I lighter? Barnaby paused, having to weigh his words carefully. Well, I do have good news for you, little one. You are now welcome to join my party, free of charge. He wagged his eyebrows to try and lighten the mood. Then he sighed, preening his feathers before ushering the soul in. I'm sorry, little one, but you're dead. I can't be dead. I was getting ready to meet up with a violent griffin before some idiot pushed me. Barnaby froze, then slowly turned to the little soul. Excuse me, who? His voice was now softer and deadlier than what he normally sounds like. His teeth bared. I was supposed to meet Violent Griffin today, and I got pushed. Next thing I know, I ended up here. So your death wasn't an accident. No. Did you see who did it? I'm sorry, but no.
I wonder who the little soul is.
Oh, so this is the interpretation of you, right? Al was just leaving the con when they saw the black and yellow tape. Their first thought was, oh no. Their second thought had them bristling. They squeezed their hazel eyes and immediately knew it was bad. They quickly turned away and assumed the worst, heading in a familiar direction in their Barnaby cosplay. They walked a good kilometer, getting to the crooked manor at the Rose City Cemetery. Al squeezed through the gap in the wrought iron gate, grunting. Then they strided up outside. This is so fucking stupid that not even ghost hunters would come here. They grumbled before taking up the courage to knock, forgetting they are in their bond enter and call out, forgetting that they're cosplaying as the very owl who haunts the manor. Barnaby, can we talk for a second about thou shalt not invite? A loud hooting filled their ears. They quickly flap their cosplay wings and curl in a ball quivering. Yeah, my mouth's dry. Hang on. Then a sound like wind rushing through the air filled their ears. Then a familiar fruity voice called out, "Oh, little one, I see you think I'm cute enough to copy my style. The voice was fruity and chilling. Al slowly stood up and gazed up. You don't need up twice. Oh my god. Just say Al slowly stood and gazed up. You don't need up twice. Their hazel eyes big. A giant black owl that looked identical to them was gazing at them with swirling orange eyes. Al knew exactly who it was. It was Barnaby, the ghost owl host of the afterlife parties. Al straightened up, their homemade gem of reality, and gazed at Barnaby with an intense gaze. This is just going to be a writing trope that Sonicphobia just is going to keep using, is it? Oh my god. For the life of me, you're going to drive you crazy. Stop using the same words in the same sentence. Yeah, I had to draw Sonicphobia out because on the Tomb Raider stream where I just had a picture up, they had it taken down. Like, I know Sonicphobia did that because there is absolutely no coincidence that me and Gray got hit for the same reason. Just because the thumbnail said the F word in air quotes.
I wonder if it's one of Sonicphobia's friends, that kid they always hang out with. Evie is in the list of characters.
Al knew. Right, here goes. Gazed at Barnaby with an intense gaze. Good. Just the owl who I was looking for. We gotta talk about Al. Before you jump to conclusions, it was not me. Barnaby cut off Al with a very quick hoot. Then he ushered them in. How about we settle down and have some tea, and then we can talk about why you decided to dress like me.
I see the better he was streaming. I'm literally only here to make that comment.
Chapter 4, Chapter 2. If there wasn't anything crowding my table, I would hit my head on it right now. But unfortunately, I can't because I have my tablet right here in front of me so I can read the chat. But if there was space, I would be bashing my head repeatedly on the table. You can't just have a worded name for it. You just call it the second chapter, which it's not the second chapter. This is the fourth because you decided to make the foreword and the character introductions chapter 1 and 2. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. This is so stupid. Wait, how did you know I was going to ask all this? Al asked, absently playing with an ear feather. They start stimming quietly, bouncing their leg and tapping their fingers. They also begin to pat their face, lost in thought. They knew Barnaby generally only murders people people he likes, which is backwards to Al. In Al's opinion, murder should only be reserved for self-defense or to overthrow a government. Or, to attack somebody you don't like and make them into your fan fiction. Just take their name and completely give it a new last name, so you can just stalk them and take all their socials and put it on a character AI account that they didn't make. Real normal stuff. Al, you know me too well to go through that goat Billy last name bust up, Barnaby replied. Sipping his tea slowly, his giant orange eyes became cross-eyed and he stuck his tongue out, causing Al to giggle. Even though Al knew the giant owl was gender fluid, the one thing that This is not important in the context of the sentence. You could have just said, even though Al knew the giant owl was a person of many things, the one thing he certainly was a liar. This sentence doesn't make sense. Even though Al knew the giant owl was gender fluid, the one thing he was most certainly not a liar. So you're saying gender fluid people are liars then? Huh? You're indirectly calling gender fluid people liars. What are we doing here? The giant owl sighed and twirled the curl. I have a lisp. Why would you put a tongue twister in there? Thank you. That was really important that you put a tongue twister in there. People like me who had speech therapy for 3+ years are really going to enjoy reading this. That was on Al's head around his talon. Also, the victim's ghost came to me and told me they were pushed. Al glanced up. Who is it? Al, my little bird. I don't wish to tell you, but it is a fan of Violet Griffin. Violet Griffin? Yes. Al slumps forward. Barnaby pats their back with a large black wing. No, Courtney. Courtney P. Al sobbed. Their shoulders slouched. Barnaby's neck stretched to impossible length as he rests his head on their lap and he begins hooting. A comforting stim to him. Al sniffed, then wiped their eyes the best they can. So sorry, Barnaby. God, I hate crying so much. It makes me look weak. Yeah. It does. If Sonicphobia is gender fluid, that line makes them a liar then. Because this line is basically calling gender fluid people liars. Even though Al knew the giant owl was gender fluid, the one thing he was most certainly not a liar. So gender fluid people are liars? Good to know. You could have easily fixed that sentence by just saying, even though the giant owl was an owl of many things, a liar was not one of them. Like, what the hell? You're not weak, Al. You're a human. A mortal with a heart too big for their pesky mortal body that you insist on clinging to like a leech. There's a big difference between weak and empathetic. I strongly advise you to converse with friends, family, and even those those friends of yours from around the world. Again, the same thing, including the kid who you adopted as a niece called Evie. Let Zeb know what is going on. Hoo-hoo. Barnaby advised, briefly lifting his head to preen Al's hair. It is a platonic gesture between the two of them, since they had an uneasy history together. Al smiled weakly through their tears, and then hugged Barnaby tightly. The giant black owl hooted in shock and flapped his wings for a few seconds. Al proclaimed through tears into his waistcoat, "God, you are too darling for this world." Please don't tell me that Sonicphobia makes herself a Mary Sue. If Sonicphobia is making themselves a Mary Sue, I'm going to set this world ablaze. Al smiled weakly and through their tears, then hugged Barnaby tightly. Oh, right, I read this part already. Barnaby hooted and lifted Al's chin so that their hazel eyes could meet his sunset gold eyes. They swirled crazily as he reminded them teasingly, "Al, I think you forgot that I kill people for my squeaking ways." The hell is a 25-year-old being friends with a 15-year-old for? Are they like related or something? That's the only context that's acceptable for a 25-year-old to be even talking to a 15-year-old. Al had the perfect comeback for this. "Barnaby, I think you forgot who my comfort character in Billy Bust-Up is, who is also who I turn to when I need to sort my mental shit out. And you also forgot what my favorite song is in Billy Bust-Up." Al reminded him, scratching between his ear feathers. Barnaby fluffed himself up and preened his feathers. Ironic how a murderous owl can also be a comfort character. Their favorite song is "A Million Gruesome Ways to Die" because it dragged them out of a depressive slump when they were 23. Oh my god. This is literally, to me, just Sonic in text form. "Now, my little mini-me, why you dressed like me? Barnaby pressed, doing his iconic face. "Well, I was off to meet Violet Griffin. Met him. He's pretty chill, not gonna lie. I somehow managed to hold a conversation without fainting." Sonicphobia is legitimately friends with Evie. Like, Sonicphobia got upset once for reading the Black Griffin defense deck and busted twisted by the third person to defend the team. Yes, Evie is a wow. That's crazy. somehow managed to hold a conversation without fainting. Oh, you mean the midnight colored griffin who the author changed the name of to protect... Unfunny fourth wall break. Oh my god. Oh, you mean the midnight colored griffin who the author changed the name of to protect privacy of for... Huh? Oh, this is seriously... Grammar. Please, work on it. I'm borderline dyslexic. My fucking eyes tend to switch words around, but I'm seeing this correctly. This is proof that this fucker does write real people in their face. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is right there. Along with bad grammar. Change the name of to protect privacy of for his safety. Hoo-hoo. Barnaby, you're like a sibling from another mother to me, but goddamn, that makes no sense. Al pointed out, confused. Hoo-hoo. Owls say hoot, not who. Sorry to be pedantic, but owls say hoot. Add the T. That's because I'm breaking the fourth wall. Barnaby winked after stating this and spun his face around like a cartoon. This sort of behavior causes Al to giggle uncontrollably. Whatever, your talking privileges are revoked, Al teased. Hush, you silly little mortal. Now don't go looking for trouble, Barnaby teased, ruffling their hair with his talons, as the little mortal started walking off. Where is the ED? Started. It's past tense. Started. Barnaby grumbled. There goes my favorite party crasher.
I'm gonna correct the writing real quick. Oh, you mean the midnight colored griffin? The author had changed the name of to protect his privacy and safety. Not as good as Grammarly, but Pascal.
Exactly. Oh my god. This is... How old is Sonicphobia currently? Like 25, as you said? Yeah, around 25. This is a 25-year-old's writing. This is crazy. This is literally just sonnet you in text to me. Meanwhile, at home, I can understand putting a comma after meanwhile, but you could just say meanwhile at home without a comma, because you're adding another comma. Rusty was pacing the kitchen. Where is Palm? Rusty grumbled, his orange tail swishing as he paced the entire house. Probably talking to that owl again, MX Murphy replied, wiggling up to knock a plant over. MX Murphy adored their owner, but would rather get high off a catnip than to help the somewhat cranky but lovable human out. meme real quick. I'll cut the music back on in a second.
So that was a fucking lie.
They pushed the coffee mug away from the edge, folded it to assume. Bolded them to leave us both unattended. I should probably figure out how to break out of this place and see Barnaby. MX Murphy was trying to stay calm, but their worry was palpable. They swipe a tongue over their paw. Again, ED. Where is the ED? This is past tense. And rub their ear with it. There's an ED here. Where is the ED here? I'm not sure if Barnaby even likes cats. Probably not. But what is taking Palm? The wind chimes on the door clattered as their goofy owner entered. The two cats pawed on the kitchen door. They both left claw marks. "Kids, I'm home," Al's voice called out, their tones sounding off desperate, the cheery mask. Oh, despite, right? This writing is so bad it's throwing me off, I swear. "Kids, I'm home," Al's voice called out, their tones sounding off, despite the cheery mask. You put an unnecessary comma here, but there's no comma here. You could have taken this and put it there. This needs a comma. Palm, what's wrong? MX Murphy and Rusty asked in unison. To Al, they sound like they're asking for treats. Both cats climbed Al's costume tail feathers, causing the gender fluid cosplayer to end up sitting on their butt hard. This is not necessary. You did not need to add this. We already know you're gender fluid. You don't need to say pronouns every 10 seconds. Ow. Just ow. Al grumbled, wiping the tear streaks stubbornly. A fellow Violet Griffin fan just died. Both cats gawked. Murdered? What the? MX Murphy began, but Rusty interrupted with a bap on the barn cat's nose. Looks like we are going to have to sneak up to Barnaby's manor and do some independent digging of our own. Rusty interjected, his orange tail puffed up. Rusty, you nitty asshole, don't do that, Al scolded, their hazel eyes shining fatally in the amusement through the sadness. Sorry, Pommy. Sorry, Pommy. I think we should figure out how we're going to get out of this house while Pommy is distracted. Rusty turned his attention to his goofy cat sibling. Rusty, you're a house cat. I'm a cat bastard. Leave it to me to figure it out independently, MX Murphy replied. That evening, Al spoke to their niece Evie over the internet. They told Evie exactly what happened and clarified that Barnaby didn't kill the Violet Griffin fan. They didn't know that there were more trouble brewing. Over at Loon Island Yacht Club, Elaine was busy preparing for the next sailing season. She stared at the list and squinted. Where is is the ED. Squinted. Then she mumbled to herself. That Barnaby fan who seems like the ghost owl's child is sailing with Scrimshaw? To say that the serval... To say that... Oh my god, did you proofread this at all? How's it going? Put that twice. To say that the serval and the violet cat dislike each other is an understatement. She shook her head, her skull print on her forehead furrowed. I don't know why they sail together. She sighed and gazed at Owl's mother, who just rolled in with Owl himself. All it took for Elaine to get directly into warrior mode was to look at the gender-fluid human's face. Again, you don't need to add this every 10 seconds. Their eyes were red and puffy from crying so much. Their brown hair was practically knotted. Their clothes looked like the same ones worn 3 days ago. The spark of sass in Owl's eyes were completely gone, replaced by an exhausted look. English is your first language. That's fine. Replaced by an exhausted look, Elaine heard the sound of another jeep rolling in. The pirate queen turned her gaze to the approaching vehicle and watched a violet cat. Again, no ED. The cat stepped out of his car. Elaine wrinkled her nose. Ah, my favorite skipper. The purple cat exclaimed with a thick Scottish accent. I am not doing one. Then the cat turned his blue eyes towards Elaine. Elaine, the purple cat addressed her quickly. Scrimshaw. Elaine returned the cold greeting. Both serval and cat's tails were twitching irritably. They started circling each other. They would have attacked. I'm not making the cat noise. Take care. That sound came from Owl. Ladies, you're both pretty. Now would you kindly cool your beats? Owl chimed in half-jokingly. Elaine smirked at Owl. Even though Owl does consider themselves gender fluid. Stop saying that, please. You don't need to add that 10 seconds. Every time, we know you're gender fluid. Elaine has to admit that Owl is honestly quite pretty by human standards. I'll let you live in Fantasyland. When they are doing well mentally, both Elaine and Scrimshaw can tell how Owl is doing mentally by their hygiene. What? Scrimshaw passed Owl some men's deodorant. So you see somebody is like intentionally not taking care of themselves because they're depressed, and the first thing you do is hand them deodorant. That's crazy. That's crazy. You don't offer them a gift, a snack, some words of affection. No, you pass them deodorant. Oh my god. So they're asking for freeze the fish. For free. Al quickly swiped it over to himself before handing it back. As Al and Scrimshaw set up the boat, the violet cat finally decided to poke. Al, are you doing okay, Bonnie human? What? I'll allow it, Scrimshaw asked. Al shook their head and looked at the purple feline. No, a friend of mine is dead. Barnaby confirmed it. Almost immediately after the comment, it felt like the wind got colder. Scrimshaw reminded Al, be careful about casually throwing around the ghost host's name. He might decide to go berserk. They finished knotting up the jib sheets and setting up the mainsail in silence. As Al got ready to hoist the sails, a long owl-shaped shadow fell over them. Al looked up to see Barnaby staring at them. Hoo, break a leg. Hope you drown. Barnaby hooted, patting them. From anyone else, Al would have been absolutely horrified. But since it came from the ghost owl himself, Al let the comment slide because they just knew he is autistic, not sadistic. Al let the comment slide since they knew that he is autistic just like them. As they pushed off the dock, Al slipped their pants off. Ew. Revealing the blue bathing suit underneath. Scrimshaw chuckled and shook his head. You're quite a character, he teased. Al shot back playfully. Wet jeans are no fun. They learned this the last time they sailed together, the hard way. The first time they sailed together, Al's jeans got so soaked that it looked like a particular accident happened there. Elaine did pick on them, but Al took it in stride since they don't really recognize teasing people. Chapter in notes. Sorry for the wait. I've been polishing this chapter. Well, you haven't been polishing it enough. So that is coherent. There is no coherency at all in this. What are you talking about? Are plotting something, sure. Chapter 5, Chapter 3. Name it something else? You know what? I'm just gonna let it go instead of sounding like a broken record because obviously it's just going to keep going like this because Sonicphobia doesn't know how to structure chapters. Okay. There are only 22 more pages to go. Great. As Barnaby was walking through Norwich that evening, he noticed two cats in Owl's house. There were a fat Siamese tuxedo mix regarding him with blue eyes, and an orange cat with orange eyes. And a soft white underbelly. He rolled his orange eyes and tried to scare the cat by baring his teeth. To Barnaby's shock, the Siamese cat puffed itself up and hissed instead of running. The orange cat hid. Brave little cat, Barnaby mused as he shape-shifted into a fine mist and entered the house. Then he got a brilliant idea to shape-shift into a cat and approached the Siamese cat. "Hello, mortal cat," he greeted the cat as he approached, looking at his orange toe beans as he sauntered over. What the fuck? Why is there a talking cat? The cat, who we know as MX Murphy, replied in his native language of meowing. Barnaby realized his mistake and adjusted his pink bow tie with a paw. "Sorry," he muttered. Then he sniffed the cat. He tilted his head in surprise. There was no denying the scent all over this cat. "You must be that mortal Al Brown's cat," he inquired, sniffing. "Barnaby, how are you a cat? How are you speaking our language? Palm only knows swear words in cat. But that's because my harebrained brother Rusty taught them," Murphy exclaimed. "Perk of being a polyglot," Barnaby replied, swiping with an orange tongue over his black fur as if this was normal. "I can shapeshift into an owl, but I do not think that owl wants their babies dead from a heart attack." Barnaby knew from experience that owl really doesn't like dead things. "Then why do you keep writing a fanfic where Jessie is dead?" That doesn't add up. As he silently recalled the time he tried to give Rusty a dead mouse that he caught himself. "If you're here to kill Palm or invite them to a party, we recommend that you stop," Rusty warned, puffing himself up.
My cat is in my lap. She's just as confused as we are.
"Oh, no, nothing of the sort," Barnaby responded as he waved the cat paw at Rusty. Both Rusty and MX Murphy knew that when Barnaby decides to hang around, trouble is sure to come. "I'm actually here to be with you. I bet it gets awfully lonesome when your silly little owner Al isn't around. Don't worry, I won't harm either of you. I'd never do that to the little soul who is holding my kid." "What do you mean by that?" Barnaby purred, letting his tail drag across MX Murphy's throat. Meanwhile, Elijah was planning something terrible as he sent out a pretty harassing tweet. He smirked. "At least I'm going to get rid of 2 dirtbags with 1 stone," he thought to himself, unaware of what his actions would have awaiting them. He had no idea how badly his actions would backfire. When Owl got home, they entered the house to perform their nightly routine of feeding the cats and walking the dogs. As they opened the door, 3 cats got up and started rubbing on them. "Hi, babies," Al cooed, their monotone voice now just an excited squeak. Then they started feeding the cats, only to find out they were already fed. That's weird," Al muttered. Then they paused and counted their cats. "Wait, I don't have 3 cats," Al paused. Then they squint. I don't understand this. Why does sometimes Sonicphobia will put the ED, like on yelled, but on other past tense words like squinted, Sonicphobia just does not put the ED. Oh, this is a clusterfuck of grammar. Seriously. Then they squinted at the newcomer. The new cat's orange eyes looked slightly owlish. Their fur was a brilliant black. Around their neck is a pink bow tie. Did I get a flow cat? They are a bit of an animation softie, as the black cat swiped an orange tongue. ED, please. Across their paw and started cleaning. Al's hazel eyes narrowed. If you could put an ED here, you could put an ED here. Why can't you put an ED here or an ED here? Or an ED here? Why are you selective with this? Oh my god. Barnaby, for your sake, you better not have done anything to my cats. I don't want to take them to the vet because you tried to poison them. They warned, their voice cold. The black cat looked up mid-lick, then shadows swirled around the cat as it grew. Al yelled and stepped back in complete shock. Soon the cat was 8 feet tall, no longer a cat, but rather a shadowy-looking owl. Owl, hoo-hoo. I know exactly how you feel about dead things, and I wouldn't break your little heart like that. I know of your history with depression. You and I made a deal that in return of you attending my parties, I do not harm your cats. The tall owl replied, briefly preening himself. And you have been honoring your end, as am I, Owl replied. Then they paused to add, by the way, you look cute as a little flow cat. I was half tempted to lift you.
The call-out document they're going to do on me is a bunch of grammar wish-wash, like how they described the Peachy's call-out document.
Well, if there's anything grammarly structured like this is, it's going to be absolutely terrible. Because this is poorly grammatically structured. This is probably some of the poorest grammar I've ever read. That is not important, Barnaby replied indignantly, puffing himself up at the human. Besides, haven't you learned? Another person was killed. Who? Rachel. Oh, to say that Al does not like Rachel is an understatement. The last time they heard from Rachel, they released a terribly panned out video on Violet Griffin's best friend, Tiger Flame, to them. Oh, poor grammar, again. It's supposed to be read as to them. It came off as a joke and parasocial behavior on top of everything else. This caused a ton of backlash, and even Tiger Flame stepped out of their cartoony persona to state what Rachel said happened clearly didn't. When Al saw the response video, to say they were intimidated by Tiger Flame was an understatement. Oh my god! Understatement. Understatement. Stop reusing words. Jesus Christ. Oh. They shudder at the thought of what a furious violet griffin looks like. They knew they were once in the Marines, and from their understanding, a pissed off Marine is terrifying. If how they see their brother Dan react, what, are you not going to react? Barnaby pressed, puffing his cheek, puffing his black feather. Barnaby pressed, puffing up his black feathers. No, how did they die? They were, it's too embarrassing. Let me guess, it was symbolic. Who. Yes, she was a bit of an airhead with an inflated ego. Tiger Flame is saber somewhere. Okay. Al raised an eyebrow. Wasn't me. Hey, I don't even want that wrench in my party. They were buzzkill and a homewrecker. Hoo hoo. Barnaby B. Wiffle Flapper. Are you trying to tell me that Rachel died? I don't have a dollar. Rachel died. Oh, Violet. Beer guard. This caused the ghost owl to shift uncomfortably. He grumbled, preening his feathers. You nerd. It takes one to know one. Now who found that wrench? Galaxy Con security guard. Hoo. The look on his face was priceless. Barnaby preened his feathers again with a grin. Barnaby, who? What? You are in language. So he's Captain America now, huh? 20 more pages of this shit. Meanwhile, at GalaxyCon, there were once again red and blue flashing lights at the scene. This time, the con panel was boarded off with yellow tape. Everyone was looking at the ceiling in shock and horror. There was a body of a red-headed woman floating on the ceiling. It was bloated and much too buoyant for its size. The woman had a blue streak in her hair, and her clothes were basically shredded to bits. On the ground, there were two police officials on the ground. On the ground. Can somebody please tell me why Sonicphobia keeps doing this? Just repeating the same words in the same sentence. This is seriously pissing me off. And Sonicphobia prides themselves as a writer? You can't pride yourself as a writer doing stupid grammatical mistakes like this. That's Sonicphobia's logic. Jesse's a homewrecker. Destiny's a homewrecker. KP is a homewrecker. Who's next? The first one took off his hat and mumbled, Jesus Christ, Barnaby, I know you're a party animal, but not in public. There are, sir, I do not think Barnaby did it. A new voice interrupted. It sounded like a burnt-out angel dust. The cops turned around, only to find a puppet in a green poncho and hat. The puppet took off his hat to reveal a puff of wooden hair. I'm Barnaby's boyfriend, Fantochio. Oh, wooden puppet. It's Pinocchio. Fantocchio. Okay, that's how you say Fantocchio. Because Pinocchio. I'm Barnaby's boyfriend, Fantocchio the Great, also known as the theater and drama teacher at Rose City. Not fun to kids, but it's better than being alone. But I digress. That is definitely not Barnaby's work. How would you know, Mr. Great? First of all, a lack of feathers. Usually Barnaby's victims would try to pull a feather to leave genetic material. There is none. Second of all, a lack of an invitation. Barnaby usually has an invitation tucked in the victim's shirt or coat. The cop paused and began slowly scouring the crime scene for black cartoony feathers or fancy invitations. They turned up empty-handed a half hour later. As the body was deflated and brought down to the ground, the coroner took a quick examination of the body and gas that they captured in a tank and surmised it was definitely a murder.
It's the burnt out angel dust that's used to describe Phantopia because both angel dust EVA and Phantopia is Michael Kovac.
Violet Griffin has seen the encounter. His usually bright face was now a furrowed gaze of concentration. His wife Shayla approached and asked, "Hun, did you see that?" "Yes, Shayla, that was one of the bronies who Tiger Frame used to collaborate with. First Sophie, now Rachel. Something is not adding up." Shayla commented, twisting her curls. "Both of these women hate me just because I defended you. But you didn't do it." "Indeed, I used to be a Marine." What does this have to do with anything? He just fucking pulled a Cotton Hill. "I killed 50 men. Cause Cotton Hill would just randomly blurt out, "I killed 50 men," when he just entered a conversation. So he just pulled a fucking Cotton Hill when nobody asked him to do it. Nobody asked him. I used to be in the Marines. Oh my god. Not to mention that multiple people have an alibi for you. Violet Griffin sighed. "Well, that's a poetic end. I don't like her, but her death was definitely fitting. Not condoning it." He added hastily, crinkling his nose at the sight. To Shayla, he looked a little green. "That's messed up, hon, but accurate." "I know. Looking at the corpse makes me sick." "Yeah, baby. Some people really do have freaked up tastes. I don't have any. That's because I hounded you." Oh, did it? Okay, now there it goes. Both the asexual musician and his wife do not realize that there was an overweight man slinking around in a Fluttershy t-shirt and jeans. The man slinked away out of sight, looking pissed. He hid some sort of canister in his backpack. Sophie Scruggs, Saber Smarter, Black Griffin, Claire Coleman, Destiny Doodles, Doodle Jen. I'm gonna have to make a list. I'm surprised Sonicphobia hasn't put you in yet. Considering that Sonicphobia just doesn't keep one at all. Chapter 6, Chapter 4. This is just gonna keep happening. I'll just let it slide because it's not worth mentioning anymore. Chapter 1, Mud Murphy. So it's from the, I'm guessing this means it's from the cat's perspective. It was quiet in the morgue after goes to the police station. The coroner walked away from the cadaver for the night, getting ready to drive home for the night. You already have for the night in there once. Why do you need it a second time? Do you proofread this at all? I had to get another drink. You know what? I have a soda, but I'm gonna take a shot every time Sonicphobia uses the same words in the same sentence repeatedly for no reason. Little did he know that two intruders would enter the home and examine the cadaver. He definitely should have guessed what kind of gas killed Rachel.
How does one become parasocial and make murder fanfics and lie about it?
First, you gotta be some deranged moron like Sonicphobia.
Sonicphobia wrote 7 real people in a fanfiction.
MX Murphy, hoo, wakey wakey. You're an expert on humans, right? The Siamese cat bastard woke up. Their ice blue eyes. I see what no better. Their ice blue eyes narrowed to slits. Their fruity voice was unmistakable. MX Murphy stretched themselves before grumbling. Barnaby, you are so dead. When I see the cat, I'm already dead. The voice replied, and Murphy then noticed the gentleman picking him up. He was vaguely shaped like Alice Papa, with orange eyes and a lean body that looks like it stepped straight out of a Donald Bluth cartoon. The man paused and took a breath from Al's room. Their scent was a mix of deodorant and lavender. The man's shadow fell over the sleeping gender fluid. Just say person. You don't need to say your gender every time. Just say person. But the shadow looked more like an owl than a man. The man slinked off with the Siamese cat.
Ray, the character I had since 2007, came behind me and Barnaby swooped in and stabbed them while singing Alistair's song. 3 possibilities. Mental illness that is diagnosed, they're incredibly lonely, or a metric flip-time clinic.
Okay. I vote the latter. This is definitely a cocaine face. Meanwhile, in a game studio, 2 developers were talking about the recent strings of murders that seem to happen around one of their voice actors, Ashley Ash Ketchum. Yes, please sue me. One of the programmers behind a video game that just so happened to have Gabriel V. Black voice act in, turned to their partner, Katie Bloom. Someone died at a con Kate was at. She stated in a dry tone of voice. Are you flipping kidding me? Katie groaned, their hands smacked on the desk. Wish I was, but you're not going to believe where they found the victim, Ash exclaimed. Let me guess, in a trash bin? Laundry? No, in the flipping air. How does a cadaver float? I don't know. That is a Violet Griffin question, not an Ash question, Ash exclaimed, exhaling in frustration.
It's either crack, meth, or ball.
As the cat and owl were heading in, Barnaby started examining the cadaver with a morbid fascination. His head twisted to an unnatural angle and spun his face around so that the bottom of his beak is near his ear feathers. Must you do that? MX Murphy grumbled. Of course, silly cat, Barnaby replied. Then he sniffed the cadaver. No odor, but Barnaby felt a little dizzy. Now what? MX Murphy asked, irritated. The giant black owl started giggling softly, his voice getting higher and fruitier as usual. Then Barnaby took a quick breath from the cadaver and began giggling wildly. MX Murphy, you have to try this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Barnaby's voice started sounding. MX Murphy struggled to find a word to describe Barnaby's voice. His voice sounds gayer. Almost. Wait, what is that weird fast music that Pong likes? Ah, nightcore. He sounds nightcore. He sounds like nightcore, MX Murphy realized. Wow, that's such a way to say you don't like nightcore. Just outright call it gay. Just call the genre of music gay. MX Murphy realized. Then he started pushing Barnaby towards the door. Barnaby, something is wrong. We have to see Pommy. MX Murphy clawed and started steering Barnaby outside. He was giggling wildly. Then he began singing. MX Murphy's fur bristled in terror at the very high-pitched and very giggling rendition of A Million Gruesome Ways to Die. Where's Violet Griffin when you need him? MX Murphy wondered. Scared, it was unnerving to say the least. The sound of Barnaby singing while high on helium is definitely going to haunt MX Murphy for the rest of their days. The next thing that happened, MX Murphy couldn't stop. They're fine, dear reader, but the sound of tires squealing made them stop. Then a sickening thud of the sound of the car kissing the lamp was enough to worry MX Murphy. Barnaby! MX Murphy yelled, forgetting that Barnaby is a ghost owl. His fat little body ran towards the car crash and found Barnaby flattened in the ground in a painfully comical way. MX Murphy pawed at Barnaby hand. Not Barnaby's, Barnaby hand. Sonicphobia did not proofread this at all, but Sonicphobia claimed that they polished it. My ass. Barnaby, please Barnaby, wake up. It took a few minutes of pawing and pleading before Barnaby took a sharp inhale and is back to normal. MX Murphy winced at the tire tracks on Barnaby's back. That has to hurt like hell when Barnaby's in. Who am I kidding? He's a ghost owl. He can't exactly feel pain. If he can, he is really good at hiding it. MX Murphy mused as they followed the owl back to Owl's house. Oh my god. Did you really need to aim yourself insert Owl? Because every time Owl follows Owl, it just throws me off. Little did they know that a certain asexual musician and a certain puppet both saw the pair heading home.